everyone. Welcome to the third lecture of engineering mechanics. And in this lecture, we'll be having a good introduction about what are moments and couples. So, let's start. Any treatment of a body as a single particle usually is not everywhere possible. So, in general, the size of the body and different points on the application of the body must be considered. For this, it is important uh, that the effect of forces exerted on the rigid body should be considered, and it should be replaced with an equivalent amount of forces on a simpler equivalent systems. This should be taught um, in a more comprehensive way only after we'll be having a good introduction about what are moments and couples. So we'll first look in this lecture about moments and couples, and then in the next lecture we'll be talking about equivalent systems. So in this lecture we'll be discussing about moment of a force about a particular point, and moment of a force about an axis, and what is a couple. So we will first of all see various forces acting on a body. Like for example, this is a truck. We can have specifically two different types of forces. One is an external forces and another one is internal forces. Remember that the internal forces are the forces between the um, this truck is made up of different materials, and it will be having the materials will be having an atomic forces among themselves. So these all are internal forces, or a force between this bracket and this head. This will also be an internal force. Force between the axles of the wheel will be an internal forces. So all the forces within the body of this truck will be named as an internal forces. However, the external forces are usually more important because they are applied externally. Like for example, the weight of the truck, so it will vary. So the weight of the truck is in the downward direction, W. So this is an external force. Or the reaction offered by the weight of this truck, so there will be a reaction at this point because the weight of the truck is on the tires and this tire is on the ground. So the ground equivalently will be offering a resistance. Similarly, we'll be having one more resistance here. These people are pulling the truck, so we'll be having one force in this direction also. So this is a force. So these all types of forces are the external forces. However, any forces like a gravity or anything, these all things or any forces within the system usually are internal forces. External forces are important, and they are represented on a free body diagram. Um, okay. Now, one of the other important concept is principles of transmissibility. We have already discussed this earlier. It's a very simple principle. It says that if there is any body and a force is applied on that body, then the force can be transferred on the same axis or its line of action. This force can be transferred here. You can transfer this force here, or you can transfer this force forward or backward anywhere on this line of action of the force. So this original force can be transferred here, here, anywhere on this line of action. Like they have transferred the force here. So the effect this force will produce will be same if it is transferred anywhere in the forward or in the backward directions. However, the direction should not change. The orientation of the force should not change. This principle is known as principle of transmissibility. Further, like for example, this is the same truck. We have these people pulling the truck, so we have a force here. This force is equal and opposite if we extend this line of action on the backward side and if we apply the force here. So the effect produced by this is almost same. And this is the something very similar happens when we have a four-wheel drive or a two-wheel drive or um, a front wheel or a backward wheel drive. So nowadays in cars we have a four-wheel drive. Sometimes in lighter cars we have a front wheel drive. So the force offered is only from the front. So you do that as a front wheel drive or a backward or a rear wheel drive, it actually offers the same force. However, it will help somewhere in the maneuvering and safety of the passengers in the vehicle. So that's a different thing. But usually the effect of force, if it is on the same line of action, will remain the same. And this is called as the principle of transmissibility. Before we discuss what is a moment, we would like to discuss or review about vector product. So let's see this on this plane. We have two vectors, vector p and vector q, at an angle of theta. So the moment is perpendicular to this vector, or a cross product between the two vectors p and q. P cross q is act as a perpendicular to this plane. And remember that this plane is contained by these two vectors p and q. So if p and q are contained on the same plane, the vector product of p and q will give you a vector which is perpendicular to the plane, and the direction of this vector is represented by a right hand rule. If you curl your fingers, if you curl your fingers in a anti-clockwise direction, the direction of the thumb will represent the direction of the vector, cross product of the vector. And further, as a magnitude of this v, the magnitude is pv sine theta. So the magnitude of vector v is pv sine theta. Theta is the angle between the two vectors. And these are some of the results of vector products. So a vector product is not commutative. That means q cross p is not equal to p cross q. In fact, it is minus p cross q. Okay, if you change the place of the vector actually produces a negative result. Similarly, the vector products are actually distributive. That means you can distribute the two products separately. PQ1 and PQ2 can be separated equivalently, like we used to do in other cases. And vector products are also not associative. That means P cross Q cross S. That means three vectors are there crossing each other should not be equal to P cross Q cross S. And why these things are happening? Remember that these PQ are vectors. So P here actually contains three components: P1 or Px, Py, and Pz. So if it has three components, then during the product, the rows and columns will change. So once they are changing, then you cannot change the position because the product will change. Okay, that's why we used to have these properties of the vector, especially when we are crossing the two vectors, P and Q. Now you know what is a vector product. Vector product is P cross Q will give you a vector perpendicular to the plane, that is vector P. And the magnitude of these vectors will be PQ sine theta. Further, vector product can be easily calculated, and this is something you have learned earlier in your class 12th, that vector products of Cartesian unit vectors. Unit vectors are the vectors of unit magnitude along the x, y, and z directions, and we call them as I, j, k respectively. Okay, so I cross j will be k in this direction, the direction of z, and j cross I will be minus k. So how we used to calculate them? We used to put this kind of a curl or a circle and place I, j, k here. So if we go in a clockwise direction, we will produce a positive result. If we'll go in a anti-clockwise direction, sorry, if you go in a clockwise direction, will produce a negative result. If you go in a anti-clockwise direction, will produce a positive result. So I cross j will produce me k. So this k will be positive. I cross j is k. K cross j will give me minus I because this is clockwise. K cross j will give me minus I. So where is k cross j? K cross j will give me minus I. Okay, so you know that. This is very simple. Further, if we have a components of the vector, we used to calculate a determinant to obtain the cross of the two products. So how this is done? This vector v has a components. The product of the vectors has a component pxi, pyj, pzk. Similarly, the vector q has component. These are the components of the vector p. Okay, three components along with the unit vectors. These are the magnitudes. And q, qxi, qyj, qgk. This is the q vector. So what we can do? We can multiply them as this rule says in the associative form. We can do that, or we can calculate a determinant of this. This is the way we calculate a determinant like ijk. We can place I, j, k in a row wise fashion. Then we can do p, x, py, pz, only the magnitudes, qx, qy, qz. And we calculate, we stop I, py, qz minus pz, qy in the same fashion like this. Or we can have j placed here, and then these two rows will cancel out. Px, qz, okay, minus pz, qx in this way. So you know how to do this. These are the simple vector products. You can go through your earlier books to find it out. Okay, we'll talk about moment. What actually moment is. We have gone through the earlier things because the cross product is required in the definition of the moment. So moment about a force, the moment of a force about a particular point. Like for example, in this case, this is kind of a globe or a piece of a body, and on tangentially there exists one force on this F at a distance of r from this. This is an irregular shaped body, okay, and the force is tangential to this. So the moment will be r, the position vector. This is a position vector positioning from point, my actual point O to line of action F, cross the F. Remember that F and R is on the same plane. My actual definition of a vector cross product says that these two should be on the same plane. This is the plane. This is the plane we are talking about. So R and F is contained on the same plane. If something like this happened, then R cross F will give me a vector which is perpendicular to the plane, which is called as a moment, m naught. And again, the direction of movement will be from the right hand rule, and the thumb of the hand will give me the direction of the moment. Further, the magnitude of the moment can be very easily obtained. R times F sine theta. Now the sine theta is the theta which is making an angle with the R axis and F. So this is the theta, R cross F. So R sine theta will be this. Now something very important comes up, that this is the position vector from 0 to on the line of action of the F. But this is not perpendicular to this. This is only a positioning vector from 0 to this. So R cross F will still be moment, and direction will be perpendicular. So it will calculate you the moment, but this will not be the maximum moment. Maximum moment when you drop a perpendicular from 0 to on the line of action of the force. Then the moment will be maximum. How? Now this is the angle theta, the angle between the force F and the position vector theta. So these are the vertically opposite angle. This is the theta. So R sine theta will give you D. Okay, r sine theta will give you d. So this is the perpendicular section that you have done. Why this is d? Because this is only when theta is actually equal to 90 degrees, then sine theta will be 1. Okay, so r sine theta will be d. So this is fd only when theta is actually equal to 90 degrees. If theta is not equal to 90 degrees, the moment will be less than the maximum. Maximum movement will occur when sine theta is actually equal to 90 degrees. Okay, you understand that. So remember that r cross f will give me any moment from 0 to on the line of action of the f. Okay, so and the maximum moment will be when the theta, this theta will be at a 90 degree, because when this theta is 90 degree, this r, this will be actually equal to d, because this will become perpendicular on this line of action. So this will be maximum. Okay, and we know that the sense of the moment may be determined from the right hand rule. This is the right hand rule. Further, we would also like to give you a small example about this moment. Let's take an example of a door. Let's say this is a door, okay, and this is fixed at this location. Now you want to open the door in this direction. Okay, you want to open the door here. That means clockwise. So you put a force here. So once you put the force here, so force times distance here, this distance r times your F force will produce the maximum moment. Why the maximum moment? Because this is at the edge and this is maximum distance, because this vector is, this position vector is perpendicular to the fixed point. Your force is perpendicular and then your distance. So the force and r, position vector r, are actually both of them are perpendicular. That means they are making an angle of 90 degrees here. So you can produce the maximum moment here. However, there are two things. If you can tilt the direction, you can tilt the direction here like this, then this angle will be higher and your moment will be lower. Or you can put your force not here, actually here, then your moment will be lesser because the distance is lesser. The distance r is less than the actual, so the moment will be lesser. Or you can say, if you can put, sometimes it happens that we cannot put our hand at the edge of the door, and sometimes we have to put it only at the end here and we try to close the door. Then what happens? We have to produce extreme amount of force to close this simple door. Okay, something very similar happens to the tires of the truck or wheel. Okay, these are the two tires of the truck and this is the truck for you, and I want to open these bolts. So if you wanted to open these bolts of the tire of the truck, what we have a wrench, a perpendicular wrench we have, and we used to put the force here and we try to open this bolt. Remember that the longer this distance, this is the line of action of the force, and this is the r, this is my r times F. So the longer the handle of the wrench is, I would like to produce the least amount of movement. So sorry, I would like to produce the least amount of effort. The moment will become maximum. The moment will be higher and higher as my length increases. So for big trucks, you have seen a long amount of wrench which is very longer in size, in this size somewhere, and this will use to open uh, the nuts and bolt of the tires of the truck when the tire got punctured. And if you have a smaller wrench, you have to apply a lot of amount of force. And remember, these two things are important, that r, the position vector, and F, if they are perpendicular to each other, that means you can apply a maximum moment. One thing, and the R should be as maximum as possible. Then the moment will be maximum. Okay, I hope you understand the concept of moment here. And okay, something very similar happens in the case of a cycles also. When you, I'm drawing it in a haphazard way only, but these are the pedals of the cycle, and this we used to pedal, and we used to put our leg here, and this is the force, and this is the distance. Okay, so this distance is constant. If we apply a vertical force, that we, if we keep our foot just correctly on this, so this is the perpendicular force times, this is the force times the perpendicular distance. So the movement of the cycle, or the effort that we have to put on the cycle, is very less because the moment is maximum. If we place our leg somewhere like this, in this fashion, not exactly perpendicular to the distance, we see that we have to apply a lot of force sometimes to produce a movement of the cycle. So this is a very general rule concept of a moment of force about a point. In a 2D also, we have a moment, and the moment definition remains something very similar. Like this is a 2D plane body, and any force, any point of application of force is there, times perpendicular distance will give me a moment. So this moment is, like for example, this force, what is trying to do? Is trying to produce a anti-clockwise movement. This force effect is to produce or rotate this body in this direction. So the moment is like this. Okay, in this case, and this is positive because we are considering anti-clockwise movements as positive. In this case, the force is trying to rotate the body in a clockwise fashion. So the moment will be negative because by our convention we have taken clockwise moments as negative. Okay, and this is the moment in the clockwise direction. So the 2D case will also be same. The distance remains perpendicular from the point of action of the moment to the line of action of the force. This should be perpendicular. There's something same is written here, and this is the Wagnonius theorem. Okay, Varignon's theorem says that if we have the coordinate systems and the position vector from 0 to any point A, where A contains concurrent forces F1, F2, F3, F4, all originating from the point A, then the vector product can be placed like this: R cross F1 plus F2 plus any force, number of forces from a same point, will be equal to the individual R's, R cross F1, R cross F2. What is this law? This is very close to the associative one that we have seen. Okay, R cross F1 plus F2 plus all the forces. So what we are trying to do here is F1, F2, F3, the overall resultant of the forces. So R cross overall resultant of the forces is actually equal to R cross individual components of the forces. Do you understand my point? R cross overall resultant of the forces is equal to R cross individual components of the forces, or individual forces. Okay, this is known as Varignon's theorem. It will be used manywhere. Okay, this is again a moments, rectangular components of the moment of a force about a point which is not exactly at the origin. So we have a position vector from 0 to the point of application A. A has the coordinate x, y, z. So we have the component fx, fy, fz along the x, y, and z. Okay. So r cross f moment will be, the moment will be r cross f, and the components of position vector r is this, component of magnitude of force f is this. So what we can do, we can multiply together. Individually we can get the moment components also. Okay, we can get the individual moment components just by multiplying it, because this moment will also be having individual moment components along the ijk or along the xyz. So you can, with the help of determinant, you can calculate the individual component. This will be mx, my and mz. When you compare it with I, j and k, you will get these individual components. Okay, so individual calculation of individual components of the moments are also very important. Okay, and if you see it very carefully, see the individual component fz and fy has one plane. Fz is this. Where is fz? Fz and fy will give me a moment in the x direction because this is the plane. Okay, remember that this plane will be giving me a moment which is, but what does the cross product says? The definition of the cross product says that fx, fy and these two components will give me a vector perpendicular to the plane, and that moment, that is a moment vector. And in this case, these are the two components. This will be my moment component mx, so it will give me mx. In the same case, fx and fz, which is the fx, this is fx and fz is this. Okay, so this will be my plane fx and fz, this will be my plane, and it will give me my. Okay, on this plane it will give me a perpendicular vector like this. Okay, so this is very easier concepts. All things are very easy if you see it in a proper way, and you will be able to calculate the individual components of the moments also by using a simple rules. um, Now we'll talk about the rectangular components of the force uh, of the moment, but with respect to a position vector RAB. Remember that RAB is this. This is my point of application A. This is my RA. From here to here is RA. From here to here is RB. Okay. This is RB. This is RA. Okay, RB, RA. These are two vectors. So the difference between the two vectors will be RAB. This. So RAB is this from this coordinate or a moving coordinate from this to the point of application of force. What will be the moment in that case? So we require the difference of these two actually. Okay. So let's see how this is calculated. RAB is a relative vector, relative from point B to point A. This is called a vector RAB, and this is produced by subtracting RA, the position vector RA minus position vector RB. You subtract the two and you will get RAB. And what is RA minus RB? Is very simple. RA is XA, this is XA, and RB is this. So RA, position vector RA has three components, XA, YA and ZA. So this is XA, this is XA, YA will be here, YA, and ZA in the third direction, ZA will be there. Okay, this will be your ZA. In case of B, we will be having XA, sorry, we will be having BX, we will be having, this is XA, okay. We will be having YB, YB is this, okay, and then XB, this is XB, okay, this is XB, and this is YB and ZB. So the difference between the two will give you RA minus RB. Okay, when you cross the two vectors, you will get the moment about a position vector from B to A. And this is somewhere very important when we are calculating the moments from a relatively, not from the origination, relatively from some particular point. And in this case, we know that the force here has three components, Fx, Fy, Fz, three components. So the calculation will be very easy. Ix, Iy, sorry, ijk in the same determinant form times the position vectors xa minus xb, ya minus yb, za minus zb. Okay, these two. So we just take the difference of the x component of the two position vectors, y component of the two position vectors, and z component, and places there, and then put the fx, fy, fz. Calculate the moment, and you will be able to calculate the moment very easily. In a similar way, in a two-dimension case also, you can do that very easily. Calculate this as per your convenience. We'll try to do a simple sample problem. It's a simple sample problem, that's what I say. We have a force, a vertical force is applied to the end of a lever which is attached to a shaft. So this is a shaft, and this is attached to some particular shaft here, and this is a lever on which we are applying a force of 100 lb. You have to determine the moment about point O. Horizontal force at A. What will be the horizontal force at A? Horizontal force means this is the line of action horizontal to this or perpendicular to this lever. And what does that force creates a moment? You have to find out. What is the smallest force at A? That should produce the same moment, and all these things we will do. First of all, let's find out the moment about O. Now to make my work easier, let's see how much do you learn till now about the moment. What will be the moment about point O with the help of this? So if you extend this and this distance, you will get the moment applied by this force. There is a perpendicular distance r. This is the line of action of the force. So from the principle of transmissibility, on this line of action, the component of the force will remain same. The F will remain same. So the F times R will give you the moment. Okay, so F times R, or the perpendicular distance D, will give you the moment. The angle here is 60 degree. Okay, so we have calculated 24 times cos 60. The horizontal component will be 24 times cos 60. So we have obtained the magnitude of moment. This is the magnitude of moment, and this comes out to be minus 1200. And remember this is trying to rotate the body in a clockwise fashion. So that's why moment comes up as a negative. So we have said we can write minus 1200 like this, or we can write only the positive value and the clockwise sign. So this will give me a magnitude of the moment in this direction. Okay. Further, what is the other thing? I have asked to obtain the horizontal force at A, which creates the same moment. So horizontal force, this is the horizontal force at A that produces the same moment. So D times this is a, and this becomes my D in that case. This becomes my R or D. So this component will be 24 times sine theta. Theta is 60 degree. So D becomes this. So FD will be to produce the same moment. So what will be the magnitude of the horizontal force? So I have to put the same moment here times F times D is there. So you can calculate the F very easily. Okay. So if you have the value of the moment, you can obtain the force. If you have the value of the force and the moment, you can obtain the distance. If you have the force and the distance, you can obtain the moment. These are the three things. They will play with these three things only. They will give you any two of them and try to obtain any other one. Now, why must the direction of F be to the right? So, what is the smallest force at A which produces the same moment? The smallest force at A that produces the same moment. So what will be the smallest force? The smallest force at A to produce the same moment occurs when the perpendicular distance is a maximum, or when F is perpendicular to OA. F is perpendicular to OA. So in that case, this was my horizontal distance. The perpendicular distance will be this distance times, that will give me the smallest force at A that will produce the same moment. Okay, F times D. Now in that case, we don't have to calculate D with a projection. We have to calculate just by this force times the distance. Simple definition of the moment. So the moment with the same moment, to obtain the force, we put the distance 24 times. So we obtain the force here. And remember that this is in the clockwise direction. Okay. We don't put the minus sign here. Okay. We do not put the minus sign because we know that F times O will give me a direction of the moment. Again, if this will be minus, my force will comes out to be minus sign. Further, to determine the point of application of a 240 lb force to produce the same moment. Now the force is reduced. Earlier the force was 1200 lb. Now the force is reduced to 240 lb. That means I have to reduce the force is reduced. So what is to be done? What is to be done? The force is reduced. That means the distance should be manipulated now. So my point of application of the force will be on this only. So produce the 240 amp for the 240 lb force. What should be my distance? At which point I should place the force 240 lb so that I will produce the same moment. In that case, moment is F naught m naught equals to Fd. So I'll put the same moment here times 240 lb, the moment, the force magnitude times the d. So we'll be able to obtain the d here like this, 5 inches. Okay, remember that the 5 inches is this OB is the 5 inches. D comes up to be OB. So my D is this. In that case, the distance will be OB times cos 60 degree. So this will give me OB. What we have obtained? We have obtained D here. This D we have obtained 5 inches. To calculate OB, just use the trigonometric function to obtain the OB and you will be obtained 0 point. So you now see that the position of the force has now changed. The position of the force has changed. And the D is difference. The D is difference. Okay. So another part of the problem is, although case of the forces in part B, C and D produces the same moment as the force, none of the same magnitude and sense or on the same line of action. None of these forces is equivalent to 100 lb. So you have to think and try to uh, find out what is to be done in this. Various combination of the forces and lever arm can produce equivalent forces. This is because you can produce the force as a vertical component or not vertical or increase the distance. So you can manipulate and play with that and try to obtain the moment. The moment in each case will be different. Okay. We have another problem. Um, um, Another problem of the same size. Let's look at this problem. So we try to solve a simple problem here. Um, the rectangular plate is there, which is supported by two brackets, bracket A and bracket B. These are the two brackets which is supported by the plate, and also we have a wire originating from C to point D. Okay, so this is a wire that is also supporting this plate. Now, knowing that the tension in the wire is 200 newtons, so that means the force or the tension FCD is 200 newtons. Find out the moment about A. Okay, you have to find the moment about A of the force exerted by the wire at C. Now, just carefully understand the problem. Determine the moment about A. Okay, to find the moment about A. That means the distance. What is moment? R cross F. So F is this. This is F 200 newtons, and we will find out the relative component of this in the x, y, z direction, three directions. We will find out the component, and we have to cross it with the position vector from here to here. The position vector from here to here. So this will be my distance. So what will be my plane? The moment should be perpendicular to the plane. So what is my plane? My plane should be, this is a position vector and this is the force vector. So my plane should be like this. This line is not straight, just consider it as a straight. So this triangle is my plane. And the two vectors are AC and the force. They are on the same plane. So the moment should be perpendicular to the plane. So that should be my moment. So determine the moment about A. So whatever the point is, so this will be about A, it should be perpendicular to this plane. Now I have to find the moment about A. So I will be having a position vector from AC, from point A to point C, and I will be having a force. So first of all, find the position vector. Now to find the position vector, what does this say? The solution requires the solving the tension in the wire and the position vector from A to C, correct, into the rectangular components. Okay, we have to find the position vector in terms of rectangular components. So we'll take an axis first of all. So this is, let's say this is how they dealt it. So RCA, this position vector times the force, and this should be my plane, and the moment vector will be perpendicular to this plane. So first of all, we'll take a axis. So this is 0 origin, this is x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Okay, now I have to find the moment, and the moment is the position vector RCA. Remember that this C is the relative position vector, related from A to C, and times F. So how will I find position vector RCA? From the point of origin. This is the origin point. From the point of origin, so RCA will be RC minus RA. Position vector, this is, remember that this is the relative vector. Relative vector from fixed point. From the relative vector is the point, which is the point from where we have to find the moment. So this is the point A where we have to find the moment. So I have to see the fixed coordinate. This is the fixed coordinate, so I have to find the position vectors. RA is this position vector. This is RA, and the along this axis will be RC. Sorry, this is RC and RA. This is RA and this is RC. Okay. So try to take the difference between the two, RC minus RA. So what we have to do? We have to difference the x-axis of the two vectors and the x component of the two vectors and z component, because this is on the xz plane. This is x and this is z. So we have to difference the two x component and the two z component. Okay, the x component is RC x component is along this. This will be 0.3 minus RA x component is 0. So 0.3 minus 0 is 0, 0.3. This is along the I x component, and the difference of the y component is y component of RC, sorry, z component of RC will be this. That means from here to here, and the z component of RA will be from here to here. Okay, so the difference is 0.08. This is not J, this should be Z. X, Z. This is wrongly written. This is not right. This should be Z component. This is wrongly written. Okay, so 0.3 times I, 0.08 times Z. This will be my RCA, position vector. Now let's find out the force component. 200 newtons is my force, but what are the components? Remember that this is again a play of unit vector. So we have to find the unit vector which is along this direction. We have the direction of the, we have the magnitude of the force, but we do not have the direction. So to obtain the direction, we have to find the unit vector that goes from C to D. So the unit vector will be F. The unit vector is F times F magnitude times the lambda, the unit vector which is going from C to D. So 200 times, how you find out the unit vector? Vector divided by the magnitude. When you divide the vector by the magnitude, you will be left with the direction only. So this RCD will be, you find out the RCD, okay, by using these coordinates. Find out, I have told you many times how to find that. Just differences there, x and y and z's, the two difference of the two. You find out the vector, divide by the magnitude, that means square of 0.3, square of 0.24, square of 0.32, square them, add them together, take them the root, okay, and you came up with a force vector. Okay, the things has been done. The force vector is there, the position vector is there. Find out the moment with a simple rule, ijk. Okay, see, this is wrongly written, this is 0.3 and the j is 0. Do not have j here, and the k is 0.08. okay, and then put the components of the force, and then find out this by calculating the determinant, find out the moment. The moment comes out to be in the three components, minus 7.68 newton meter in I component, in J component, and in K component. Okay, so the moment vector will be from here. So you can put the values of the moment vector like this. So along the, this is Z, along the Z you can write the component, along the J or Y you can write the J component and X component in this fashion. So you will be having this. Okay, so I hope that you understand this, how to solve such problems. Okay, and further we'll talk about some basic scalar products. We will now talk about a dot product or a scalar product. Scalar product is the uh, product between the two vectors, and it is usually scalar in nature. It is used to obtain the overall magnitude of the two products. That means the dot product between P and Q is PQ cos theta. And you know this already. We have some properties of the scalar product. Are they commutative, are they distributive, and how they are related with associative properties. This is all has been given to you. You know all these things. Scalar product with the Cartesian components. You can, how you use to dot these products. That means the component px times qx, how this is dotted. I times I is 1, so you can directly multiply the two components in this form when you are dotting p and q. Each relative components along the x, y and z can be dotted together. Remember that I dot I is 1, and in each the cases. However, the other two indices will give you a 0. So it will be having directly each component multiplied with the other. Okay. And the angle between the two vectors is cos theta. So we can find out the theta by easily writing the vector components px, py and pz and dividing it by the magnitude pq. Find out the theta easily. Now projection of a vector on a given axis. Remember that this is the any given axis 0L and we have a vector OP. So the projection of this vector on this will be cos theta simply. Okay, cos theta from theta to this on this vector. So this will be vector Q. So this will be P cos theta. Now you can obtain things that are required. Further, for an projection of P on any axis which is represented by a unit vector. Okay, so this is any arbitrary axis OL which is on the unit vector lambda, and remember that this lambda is having an angle of theta x from the x-axis, theta y from the y-axis, and theta z from the z-axis. So you have remembered what are direction cosines. So your magnitude or vector P will give you along the x, y, and z in terms of cos theta. These are the components that you have obtained when you define a unit vector along any axis. So you must know how to find out these dot products because they will be required in calculating the couple systems. Now mixed triple product. Earlier we have calculated the product of P and Q, and we have obtained a vector which is perpendicular to this. We call that vector as a moment. However, what happens if we have three products to do? So we call that as a mixed triple product. So PQ, remember that PQ is in a single plane. P and Q, both the vectors are on one plane, and the result will give me a vector perpendicular to this, which is PQ. Okay, if this PQ, I would like to know the projection of this PQ on any other axis. That projection will give me another vector. So to find that projection on any other axis, I used to dot that. So you understand the importance of dotting. The cross is by multiplying the two vectors, and when you dot it, that means you obtain a component of that along this axis or along this vector. So this is the moment or cross P cross Q. So if you wanted to obtain the component along this axis, this will be your component S. That is why you have dotting it. Dotting always means that you are trying to get a component, and that component will be scalar, so that component will be having only magnitude. So you can easily dot them together. Okay, and remember that when you change the sign, if PQ is changed to QP, that means according to the mixed product law, we'll be having a negative. Along QS is changed as SQ, we'll be having a negative. Okay, so we will be having a negative signs. So mixed triple product can be very easily obtained in terms of I, J, K. You write the components of the axis along which you want to find the dot of that product. This is the axis S along which I want to find the dotting of this product. Remember, again I am telling you, P and Q is the cross product which is on the same plane, and the result of this is perpendicular to this. And if I wanted to find the component of this P and Q along any axis, maybe this or this along any axis, that component we have to find by dotting it with the dot product, with the cross product. So to obtain the overall product Sx, Sy, Sz, write the three components, write the other three components which are on the same plane, these two, like we used to do that, and obtain the simple mixed triple product. Okay, now similarly, if you want to find out the moment of a force about any given axis, something very similar that we have seen just now. So this is a plane, a position vector R, a force vector F. So this is on the same plane. So the perpendicular to this will be a moment. So R cross F will give you m naught. So the component of this m naught on this axis 0 to L will be lambda. So how you have to find the component? By dotting it lambda with m naught. Dotting the lambda with m naught will give you a component of the moment component along this axis. So lambda you can dot with R cross F also. That's the same thing. We're trying to understand the point. If we wanted to find the moment component along any axis, we have to dot the that axis with the unit product or unit vector along that particular axis. Okay, then the components you can find out easily. Mx n by nz along that 0 to L axis. And if you wanted to find out the moment about a given axis, about any given axis, so along again same thing, lambda is a unit vector along that axis times mb. mb is a moment along b. Remember that the moment along b, the moment along c, all will be same, because the moment is the same, rab times f, and that plane made is like this, something like this. The plane is made. So the sorry ah, eraser. So the plane made is, this is the plane made, and the moment vector will be perpendicular to this. So if this is perpendicular, then this will be perpendicular to b also, perpendicular to c also. So you take any one, that will be same. Okay, so same thing can be gotten by using RAC also. So you do that by RAB or by RAC, the moments will be same. Okay, the overall thing will be. So this is one of the sample problems that they try to solve you and whatever the concept that we have discussed, and they want you to reflect them, how to find it out. This is a cube acted by a force P, determine the moment. Now they will try to do about A, but let's try to find out the moment about A. This is P. So moment about A will be position vector from A to F, FA. Okay, position vector, calculate the position vector very easily, calculate the P, find it out very easily. Okay, no problem, that we have done earlier also. Another thing, in the second case, moment of P about AB. Remember, moment of P about AB. So this is AB, moment of P. Remember that this plane is same. That this is the same plane. So moment coming out from anywhere of this will be same. However, I wanted to find now the moment about AB. So about AB, my unit vector is I, because AB is along the x direction, times MA. MA is from A. So on this plane, the moment is MA. On this plane also, the moment is MC. MC is also same as MA. Okay, because the force is same and the position vector is same. So you can take RFA also, or you can take RFC also. The moment will be same. So dotting the moment with I is, what does that mean? That the moment will be here, and I am dotting it with on this axis. That means I am trying to take a component on this axis. So this moment is a magnitude MAB on this axis. Okay, this is a moment MA or MC or MF on this plane. Okay, perpendicular component. So if I am trying to dot it on the axis AB, that means I am trying to take this component, the projection of this component on AB when I am dotting it. So I am dotting it with I, because I is along this AB with MA. Okay, and we have obtained this. Similarly, now they are trying to play lambda AC. Just remember that same thing that I have told you, that the moment MA is on this plane. Okay, now you can do anything. Now AG actually does not have any unit magnitude, because unit magnitude vectors are along x, y and z, I, j, k. So AG doesn't have anything. So to find the unit magnitude AG, you have to find the vector divided by magnitude of the vector. So find it out. Lambda for you, a unit vector along AG, and then multiply the two and find out the moment. Remember that again the moment will be same. MA, MC, MG will be same. Now you are dotting it with this axis. Now you are dotting the MG with this axis. So this is MA, this is lambda A, okay. Lambda, you are dotting lambda with the moment vector, MA. So you are trying to take the component of this along AG. I hope you have understood all these things very easily. Try to do this by yourself. Okay. We will try to come on another topic, the moment of a couple. Couple are two equal and opposite forces having the same magnitude, parallel lines of action, and opposite senses. Couple is experienced in a day-to-day life when you try to open a uh, this shower. You try to open a shower, or you try to opening any nut or bolt. What you used to do, you try to put two equal and opposite forces. Or in the case of a car, when you are driving the car, you have the steering on your hand, okay, and you try to push. You used to place two hands, one in this direction and one in this direction. If you try to maneuver the car in this direction, you will apply one force here and one force here. So these are two equal and opposite forces, and they will form a couple. Couple is also when you have a bolt fixed at particular ground and you try to open the bolt. You apply a couple. You apply the forces from the two sides and you try to open the a bolt or a nut or a shower or a wash basin on it. Okay, so these are the two equal and opposite forces, have the same parallel line of action and opposite senses. Remember that F and F should be having the opposite sense. However, the magnitude should be same. So the moment of that couple will be RA is one vector, okay, 1 times F, and then RB is another times minus F. Now what is this RA and RB? RA and RB are the two position vectors. So we have this plane, okay, we have this plane and we have two forces on this plane, F and minus F. Remember that F and minus F both have the same magnitude, however the opposite sense. The distance between the two is R, okay, is R is the distance position vector and D is the perpendicular distance between the two. Okay, now we have to find the moment of this, moment of a couple. So how you find it out, the moment? By using the cross of the position vectors. So position vector 1 is RA, going from here to here. RA is 0 to A and RB from 0 to B. And the difference between the two is this, RAB. Okay, I'll clear out this so that you'll be able to see the screen comfortably. Okay, so this is RAB. Okay, this is RA, this is RB, and the position vector here is RAB. So RAB is the difference between the two and times the couple. So R times F is the moment between the two magnitude of the forces, F and minus F. Okay, and RF sine theta is the same principle that we are used to apply. That means if this theta is equal to 90 degree, we'll be having D, that means the perpendicular distance between the two, if this is 90 degree. If this is smaller than that, then the moment will be lesser. Okay, if it is the theta is less than 90, the moment will be smaller. If we need to get the maximum moment, we have to keep the distance between the two, parallel lines between the two, and the distance is maximum. The moment vector of the couple is independent of the choice of the origin of the coordinate axis. It is a free vector that can be applied at any point within the same effect. This is something very important that needs to be understood. Earlier, when we were discussing different examples here also, the moment vector either can be originating from here, it either can be originating from here or from here. But the important thing was it was on the same plane. In this case also, it is on the same plane. However, it is a free vector because there is no fixed point. Here, the moment has not been calculated about any particular point. The moment has been calculated about the forces and the distance between these two forces. So that is why the moment vector in the case of a couple moment is called as a free vector, because it can be placed anywhere, here, 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 or here. It doesn't need to be placed at a particular point like the previous case I, G, or F or P, not at a particular plane of the point. I do not need to place this moment at this point or this point, or if there is some fixed point like this. I can place it on any plane. That's why it's called as a free vector. So the two couples will have equal moments if the forces and the distance between the two are same. Like in this example, the two couples lie in a parallel plane, okay, and in other case the two couples have the same sense or the tendency to cause rotation in the same direction. Okay, now addition of the two couples, considering the two intersecting planes, like for example this is one plane P1 and another plane P2. So the distance between the two points A and B is R. So M1 is the moment R cross F1, R cross F1. This is one plane, moment coming out from here, M1, like this. M2, R F2. So R F2 coming out from this, like this. Sorry. Okay, like this. M2. These are the two planes. The resultant vector also forms a couple. The overall resultant vector MR cross small r cross the resultant R will form a couple. M1, so they can be added together. The two forces can be added together to find the overall moment. And by Barré-Genon's theorem that we have already described, the two moments can be added together also to find out the overall resultant moment. So the R times F1 first moment and the R times F2 second moment can be added together as two components. Very important to remember that F1 and F2 is on the different planes. These are two different planes. That is why these two moments are also on two different planes. Okay. As you can see, these are the M1, M0, M0. These all are the couple components. Now we have a couple vectors also. Like in this case, a couple can be represented by a vector with a magnitude and direction equal to the moment of a couple. So this is a free vector M equal to the magnitude Fd. We can place this is here and write as a clockwise or anti-clockwise moment direction, and this moment can be used as a component mx, my, and mz, something very familiar to you. So couple vectors obeys the laws of addition of two vectors, and couple vectors are usually free vectors. If there is no point of application, it simply acts on a body. It doesn't have a particular point of application on a body. It simply acts as a free vectors M. So any free vector on this body, if this is a free vector applied anywhere on this body, just consider it as a couple vector. Couple vector may also be resolved as component vectors. We have seen that mx, my, mz. So these vectors can be resolved on a body. So this we will do it in the next class, and if there are some further examples to that, we'll try to do that in the next class. This is much important. In the next class we will see what is the application of moment and couples on equivalent systems in different system which can be considered as an equivalent system. So next class will be very important for us. Please stay tuned for this, and thank you for your time.